Hello, Justin Tucker here. We're going to make another video kind of continuing on what we did last time about the jobs available posting. And what we've done here is created a custom view of this content type. It's produced this table. We've got some dummy content, and again, it's all around this fictitious site where developers can post jobs available and jobs wanted, and then potential customers who need websites or development services can present projects and receive bids on those projects. So right now we have created this view, jobs available postings. One thing I noticed right now that I don't like that I want to change in the last video is I named the top link available postings, and that's probably not correct. I think I want to go and edit my view and change that menu to say available jobs, which I've already done. Okay, now I've done it through the view here, okay, and I'm going to open this in a new link, but you'll notice that the menu item still says available postings. The reason why that is because I need to go into structure, I need to go into menus, I need to go into main menu, and you'll notice that there's this reset link. Okay, so available postings right here in this menu, I'm going to flip back to my view. That menu item is created because of this page settings area here. This is normal, this is checked normal menu entry, and it's named available jobs. Okay, we've done that through the view, but the main menu hasn't yet updated that. So if I click reset, it's going to ask, am I sure? This is going to go to that view and say, oh, it's now called available jobs, and you see that change. You also see the reset went away. So if you see reset over here, that's Drupal letting you know, hey, we've got one thing saying something here, and that's different than what it's telling us to say in the view. Sometimes that's okay, but other times you may want to do what I just did to get things updated. And I'm going to move it under the Home tab again, and I'm going to hit Save. And so now if we go to the home page of the site, we get this effect of available jobs now instead of available postings, which makes more sense to me. Okay, so diving into the view here again, let me close this other window out. I want to add a few more fields to this table, and then I want to add a few filters, which are basically ways that allow your users to reorganize the information on the screen based on certain parameters. So I'm going to add a post date field. And when I say add, I don't mean I'm going to add this to the content type. That's pretty much already there. Whenever I save a new piece of content, the post date is already captured by Drupal. But I'm going to go into my field selector here and say post date, search for it. There it is, the date the content was posted. That's all it needs to know. I'm going to hit apply. And we're going to call this, let's just call it posted on. And then we get these date formats already provided for us. We can choose any of these. We're going to get into this here in a second. I'm going to choose custom right now and just say month, day, year. If you need to know more custom formats, you can go to the PHP manual here and it will let you know what those are. But what this is going to do is just show a numerical value for the month, a numerical value for the day, and then the entire year, like 2013. And I'm going to hit apply to all displays. We can ignore the rest. What this is going to do is add a new column to my table called post date, and there is the date it was posted in the format that I asked it to be in. In addition to that, I'm also going to bring in the post date field again, but this time I want to express to the user the post date and show them how old the posting is, which can be a valuable thing to understand when you're looking at jobs available postings and things like that. So I'm going to search for post date again. There it is. I'm going to choose that field. And instead of choosing a format, I'm going to say time ago. And I'm going to call this posting age. And you'll see what this does here. So this is going to create a new column after the post date that lets me know how old that post is from this day to today. So as the time of this video, that's 1 month, 6 days. From here, it's 1 month, 1 week. And so again, this is a helpful way to display the age of the posting, which can be important when you're looking at material like this. So I added those two. I also might want to let my users be able to click like these right here, the title, and have it sort ascending or descending. I would go back up to the table layout because again, that's something that has to do with the layout of the information. The fields are just dealing with what information you want, and then the format up here tells us how we want to display it. So I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to tell these new columns I've added to be sortable. See this sortable column here? And they are not checked. And when I check them and hit apply, you'll notice that they get blue because they're now linkable to be ascending or descending. Okay? And then finally, I'm going to add 2 filters to this view. I want to give my users the ability to select by job type and whether or not remote operation is allowed. So to do so, I go to the filter criteria and hit add. And instead of looking through my giant list here, I'm going to choose job type and see what comes up. I don't want the delta. I just want the output of the field itself, so I'm going to choose job type. And now we configure this field. Now, I like to give my users an option of choices, which means I need to choose drop down. If I use autocomplete, I kind of have, or I'm allowing the user to enter it, but they got to know what to type in. Clearly, there's use cases for that. In this case, I don't want to do that. I want to leave it as a drop down. Hit apply and continue. And this is the key. Expose this filter to visitors to allow them to change it. And then it is going to give us a label. What do we want to call this? I just want to call it job type. I don't need the extra stuff. Is one of. We're not going to check any of these because all of them will apply. We'll allow for multiple selections. And the rest looks okay, so we'll hit apply. You'll notice that this gives a box with an apply button next to it above my table here that I can then choose part-time as a user, click apply, and then this entire list here is going to filter and only show me the ones that are tagged as part-time. Additionally, I want to add another filter for whether remote work is available or allowed. And so to do that, there's that field, remote allowed, question mark. I'm going to add that to this display. I'm going to choose drop down because again I want to give my user the option to understand, just choose yes or no, not have to type it in. And I do want to expose this filter. This is the key. I want the label to be that. Here I am not going to choose allow multiple selections because if you think about it, that doesn't make sense. I don't want to allow the user to say show me all jobs that allow remote location of yes and no. If you think about it, that's exactly what the view does by default. Okay, so because of that, I don't want to allow them the possibility, meaning they can only choose one or the other to get to the filtered list that they want. And I'm going to apply that, and you're going to notice this appears down here as well. So I can say stuff like show me all part-time jobs that allow remote work and apply, and I would get a list that has that. I don't believe I've got anything in part-time or any remote job allowed. So actually if I click apply here, I should see nothing, which is exactly what I see. Nothing might not be so kind to your users, so let's add in something for if we don't have any results. Okay, so the idea here is we want to display a message to our users if there's no results like below. I asked for part-time jobs that allow remote work, and I don't see anything. So you'll notice an area under here. It's under the Advanced tab, no results behavior. Let me go ahead and add that in. And what you're going to want is a global text area. And we're just going to put in here a simple message that is to display if the view has no results. We'll say, sorry, your search did not yield any results. and try broadening your search, or something to that effect. And we'll just hit apply. Okay, and here's our view again. It ignored my filter, so let's try it again. So I'm purposely asking for something I know that doesn't exist, and now I have, sorry, your search did not yield any results, try broadening your search. So this is a little bit more meaningful for our user if they happen to use filters that produce no results because there's none in the database that meet that criteria. So that is probably, trying to think what else I want to go over in this video. What we're going to also do is take these out of the view display and put them into a block to show on the right or left hand side. But let me go ahead and save this now for you, and let's kick back out to our view as a user would see it, like this. And you'll notice that we've got these two filters here that a user can use. Now, I don't really like the job type here being to where I can select multiple, but I'd have to know to click control and choose the other options. Okay, so one cool module that I'm going to dive into real quick is called Better Exposed Filters, and I believe I'm going to open my modules tab in a new browser here. I believe I've got this installed already. It's just a module like any other. You install it and enable it. So I'm going to look for Better Exposed Filters, and there it is. And again, to get this, I would just go to Google, type in Drupal 7 Better Exposed Filters. Here's the project page. You go down, right click on the tarball, copy link, come back, choose install module, paste that link, and then hit install, and then enable it like I'm doing now. So I'm going to go ahead and enable that. And what this is going to allow me to do is it's going to give me the option to say, okay, on the list of job types, instead of just offering a box with options in it that the user is forced to select control to choose multiple options, I'm now going to be able to say, no, manifest this as checkboxes or radio buttons. It's going to be radio buttons if you only allow a single selection, like we did with the yes or no. It's going to be checkboxes if you allow multiple selections, like we have with job type. So going back into this view, I probably need to refresh it. And under exposed form over here is where we can do a lot of other creative things, which I like to utilize to give to my users the ability to search the site and filter information. So the first thing, exposed form style, says basic. If you click on basic, you'll now see better exposed filters as one of the options because we enabled that module. That's what you want to choose, and you hit apply. And then it takes us into some further configuration settings where you can change labels of things. Instead of apply, maybe you want to say go, okay, or something to that effect. Auto submit, typically I don't like to do this. It basically is, once you choose one filter, the list automatically filters itself, and then you can go down the row. Clearly there's ways, or there's use cases out there where this is desired and good to do, but that's what the auto submit is. And it tells you automatically submit the form once an element is changed. And here's what we're looking at here. So we have this display, this field, jobs available type, and taxonomy ID. That's what TID stands for. An exposed filter as, and we have a select list. And now I get to choose checkbox or radio button. For the jobs available remote allowed, I'm going to leave this as a select list, and I'm going to hit apply. And you'll notice that our job type over here is going to turn into radio buttons, or I'm sorry, checkboxes like this. Okay, so this is a little bit more useful for a user because now they understand, oh, I just check the boxes that I want versus assuming they understand, oh, I have to hit control and use key commands. And so if I hit save, once again, we're going to kick back out to the view, and we're going to see that those checkboxes took effect, and there they are. So now I can choose temporary and yes, which should probably yield no results because none of them are. That's right. And here is the message I get. Okay. Let's just real quick, so I can get a result to illustrate, let's go into one of our fictitious jobs. And because we're logged in, we can click the title and it takes us to the piece of content. I'm going to click edit, and under remote allowed, I'm actually going to say yes, but only on this one. And then we'll save it. And then I'm going to go back to my available jobs view here, okay? And I'm going to say show me temporary, well, or just show me any job that will allow remote work to be done, and there is the only one that's allowed. Temporary would also work too, because temporary is one of these selections here. So this is how the user would use this to filter the list to what they wanted to see. Let's say I don't want this right above the table, but I'd rather have it over in the left-hand sidebar, so the user can make use of that. If I go back into my view, we can do that by going to the area right above where we specified better exposed filters, and under exposed form and block, choose yes here. Instead of no, just pick yes. And you'll see it disappear from here. Well, it's not gone, it's actually in a block. So if I hit save, okay, we notice that we don't see it anymore. But if I go to structure, blocks, and it's going to be disabled by default, so I know it's going to be down here. Here it is, exposed form for the jobs available postings page. I'm going to configure this block, and this should be familiar with the other videos we did in the past about blocks and how you can move them around. I'm going to call this block filter jobs, and then I'm going to tell it to show in this theme on the sidebar first, which I know is the left-hand sidebar. I don't have to specify which pages it does or does not show on. It already understands that because it is part of a view. So it's only going to show on pages um, where that view is allowed. Well, actually, that's not technically true. We should be able to see it at all times. So I take that back. Totally ignore what I said. um, this is what's nice, is that I can, from this right here, say go, and it actually, if I don't select anything, you'll notice that it takes me to the same page as if I just clicked available jobs. Okay, same exact page. URL didn't change, nothing changed. So depending on your use case, maybe you want to leave this on the first page, because then a user could say, show me temporary that allow remote access or remote work to be done, and then bam, there's that one result right there. You may also say, well, no, I only want it to show when the view is up, okay, and not on every page. So in that case, if I go back to the view, here's one way we can do that, and this is just using basic blocks and stuff. Again, there's other building systems out there like panels module and context, but we're just talking about blocks right now. Here is the path that this view is being invoked by, okay? And so if I then copy that path, go to structure, go to blocks, find my exposed view, which is going to be in the left-hand sidebar, or sidebar first is the name of it. Here it is. I'm going to hit configure, and then I'm going to say, hey, I don't want you to show on every page. I only want you to show on pages that have jobs-available-postings in the URL, and that's what the asterisk is. So what this is going to do is allow that it'll allow this block to also show up when the URL extends, because the user has filtered other results, which changes the URL. So if I do this and hit save block, what we'll notice is that this block will only show up when we're using the view. So here's the first page, home, and no more block. But if I click on available jobs, it's going to pop up, and there it is. Okay? You'll notice that if I choose temporary and yes and hit go, it'll also stay there because in the resulting URL, jobs-available-postings is still in the URL, and this block is told to show anytime it finds that path in the URL. And so this is what gives us the effect of this filter following around this view. Okay. Furthermore, you'll notice that the term, or I'm sorry, the path was jobs-available-postings. The title, okay, is jobs-available-posting without the S. So technically, if I click on this, I will not see this filter. Okay, so let's demonstrate on that, and there it is. It's gone. Okay, I'm going to hit my back button. If I want to fix that, so basically, if I want to say, look, I want this block and the filters on it to show up not only on the view, not only on any result the view gives, but also on every page that is a jobs available posting. All I need to do in this example, the way we've set it up, and kind of how I've done this off the top of my head, is if I take the S out, okay, jobs available posting is a common denominator in both the path for the view and the path for every job available posting that's done on the site. And so if I hit save block, this should achieve that effect. And so there it is on the view. I'm going to say any. There it is on the full display of the view. And now if I dive into any one of these, it should also retain itself on the left-hand side, and there it is. And so this is an attractive way to go because now on every single page that deals with jobs available or available jobs, you are providing them a way to filter and search that material further. So again, this is a really basic example. You can imagine how this can extend into real estate sites, shopping carts. There's a lot of use cases here, and again, I'm just trying to convey to you the basics around having a view, being able to offer filters for your users to search that view by, and then creating what's called an exposed block for that filter, which can show on the top, bottom, left, right, or even in the content area that is controlled through your blocks manager area. Um, and so it's very, very powerful. And as you can see now, the way I've configured all of this, again, the filter is going to follow essentially the pages that it needs to be on in a logical usability type way. The other nice thing about this is because of the way I've set it up, the website doesn't care if I've got 10 postings for jobs or if I've got 10 million postings for jobs. The functionality is going to work the same, and that's the beauty of Drupal, is that the scalability of it is built in if you can structure it right. And so again, I want to stress this is a way to do it. There are other ways you could achieve this same effect, and depending on who you talk to, they may say, oh, this is a good way, or there's better ways, or depending on your use case, I think is what it really comes down to, what you're trying to do for your specific needs. In my opinion, kind of determines what is the quote-unquote better way to go. But this is an example of what can be done with views, what can be done when you add filters, when you expose that filter, and when you use a module called Better Exposed Filters to be able to turn multiple selections into things like drop or radio buttons and checkboxes. So we are going to truck along on the next video and make more views and do more with views because we have other content types on the site that we need to display to users, and just like this view here, we need to give them the ability to filter that information in a useful way. So as always, thanks for watching. If you've got questions or comments, I am more than happy to entertain those and answer, so feel free to contact me, and if you like these videos, please subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.